Hello and welcome back to another weekend wisdom. This weekend, I want to address the question that I get a lot of the time. What size should my new practice be? So, this is an email I received recently. I'm at the stage of choosing a physical location for my brand new startup practice. I feel that I've chosen a great general location, but I have the choice of two different units. One is 1680 square feet and the other is close to 3300 square feet. So almost double there, or in fact, double. Should I play it safe and get the smaller unit? Or should I get a bigger unit and should I bet bigger and grab the larger unit? Any advice is welcome. Thank you. Okay, well, thank you so much for your email. It's a great question and it's actually quite a common question. So, should I build large or should I build small slash medium? Very common thought amongst dentists as they start a practice. Of course, we all hope that our new practice will take off and we'll fill out a large practice, but that's not the case all the time. Even if your practice is successful, are you willing to pay the extra rent and other expenses before you actually need the space? So let's look at each scenario. So 1680 square feet. So you can fit up to 5 ops there, depending on design and laws regarding wall thickness and washroom size. So when I'm talking about the laws here, different jurisdictions will have different wall thicknesses needed depend on medical facilities, and that's based on the radiation of the X-ray units. Washroom size, that's depending on the different laws that you have for where you are in regards to wheelchair accessible washrooms and so forth. So there's two objectives to look at financially. One is the project budget of building your practice, and two are the ongoing practice expenses. So for 1680, I've chosen an arbitrary $220 per square feet. Now, where you are, it might be much higher than this. Where you are, it might be much lower than this. I've just chosen 220. I thought that's a nice round number for 2025 to kick us off, and that's what I've seen as an average where I was looking. So this comes out to just under 370K for construction costs. So adding in other expenses, the total project can be approximately $500,000 to set up this practice. Depending on rates, monthly loan repayments can be approximately 6,500. And as we know, the interest rates are changing at all the time, so this is an approximation. Okay, so 3,300 square feet, so you can fit up to 10 ops depending on design and laws regarding wall thickness and washroom size, as we just discussed. Again, the two objectives to look at financially, the project budget and the ongoing practice expenses. So again, at that $200 square feet, $220 per square feet that we discussed, that's coming to just 726,000 for construction costs. Adding on other expenses, the total project can be over $1 million to set up this practice. Depending on rates, monthly loan repayments can be approximately 13,000. Having loan repayments of $13,000 a month right when you start up can be the difference between making a profit or not. At the beginning of a startup, it's a race to breaking even. You're trying your best to get new patients in the door and to keep them happy so that they return. To be simplistic, for all your hard work, it may be difficult to justify having a lot of your monthly expenses going towards space and equipment that are not contributing to revenue. So, however, often you can have a deal with the lender that your payments are interest only in the first year. Yeah, but it might take much longer than your first year before you start needing your sixth op and beyond. In some startup situations, there can be much more confidence that you'll be needing the extra space very soon. So, for example, a dentist moving to a rural location with a completely non-served population. I've seen dentists move to isolated regions with no dental personnel nearby. So the proposed practice would be the only office for a drying area of 6 to 10,000 people. The people have the insurance coverage that works for the office. So not only would I feel comfortable building a bigger office in this situation, you can find that the lease rates in these locations to be much less expensive as well. If you go out far enough, you'll get some great deals. But this is a unique scenario in which you can be confident. I'm, I'm referring to a blatantly obvious supply and demand type situation. I've seen some dentists that have confidence because they believe in their abilities or they have unbridled ambition. Personally, I would want something more concrete than this. I fully understand that if and when you are successful, you'll eventually wish to add physical space. This may mean that you can knock down a wall and expand laterally, or you can find a second location, which is what I did. I still think it's better to face this situation than the potential sinking pressure of not breaking even. This type of financial pressure can lead to bad clinical decisions. In my program, I advocate for an efficient build-up model that keeps both your startup and monthly expenses low. So when combining this with a well-matched location for what you plan to provide, you do have a chance at real explosive growth. I'm interested in win-win situations. If you've watched my module 1, I discuss billionaire Manish Pabrai's strategy for creating situations in which his risk is minimized. Without a great reason, the added costs increase the risk and turn the situation into a conventional win-lose situation. You deserve better than these types of odds. I want better odds for you. So here's that slide that I have from Module 1 that you can find on YouTube and my website. The, the main saying that he has here is heads I win and tails I don't lose much. So he says, basically, if you study entrepreneurs, there's a misnomer. People think that entrepreneurs take risk and they get rewarded because they take risk. In reality, entrepreneurs do everything they can to minimize risk. They're not interested in taking risk. They want free lunches and they go after free lunches. So, how can we apply this business mindset of his to our project of starting a new dental practice? Remember, we're looking for a heads I win and tails I don't lose much situation, or better. So, the answer to this is by being able to be more efficient compared to other dental operations while not sacrificing any quality or patient care. So each of the modules of the program, and I'm sorry to bring it up, I'm not trying to push the program here, but I'm trying to use it as a guideline for how you did to navigate this original question that the emailer asked. So the modules, they're designed with two main goals in mind. To set up your practice with a savings of $200 to $300 compared to other startups, and to be able to run your practice effectively and efficiently in order to lower your break-even point every month, thus lowering risk and increasing profit. So let's revisit my situation when I was first opening my first office. So the average setup prices through research for 5 ops was $800,000 through the dental supply companies. I noticed in the market that the average cost of a failed startup practice was $700,000 for that same 5-op practice. And I noticed in different places, different provinces, different countries, I noticed that this still existed. There was a price through the dental supply company, and then there was a price for a failed startup, often called a turnkey practice if you're looking through the classifieds for dental practices for sale. So I noticed, therefore, a failed startup was a loss of at least $100,000, more if you include lawyer and broker fees for a sale and the debt. But I was able to start up a practice for $500,000, still 5 ops, by doing it myself. Therefore, my worst case scenario was a gain of $200,000. Do you see that there? I'm still building the same asset that's worth $700,000, but I'm doing it for 500. So therefore, my worst case scenario, if the practice doesn't work out, was a sale of the practice for a gain of $200,000. So that's a heads I win. That's not really a heads I win, tails I don't lose much. That's a heads I win, tails I win. I just win less. If I had built a bigger practice and failed, this win-win possibility would not have been available to me. I believe I would have taken a significant loss. So I would have changed the risk proposition if I had gone bigger. Looking back, I would not have been able to avoid needing a second location when I expanded. But it's important to not view your situation through completely rosy glasses. We're living in a time where we're seeing some new dental offices fail. My official recommendation for you is to do all the things that you need to do to be successful, but to cover yourself. Maintaining a win-win situation is a great way to start out. I feel a lot of these offices that open and are not being successful have not taken the steps that they could have to increase the chances of success. Make sure your new office is not too small, though. I've seen this as well. I would caution about creating an office that is too small. After a while, there comes a point where risk is mitigated, but so is growth potential. Offices that are 2 or 3 operatories can be limiting and hard to sell down the line. I believe your startup should be at least 4 operatories, preferably 5. So this is if you have a model that wishes to have a strong hygiene department. Filling these operatories with hygienists that are capable of producing is ideal. Do the math just like I showed you for your local area to make sure you're on the right side of that win-win scenario. You can set your budget accordingly. So again, the program is how to start and run a dental practice successfully. There's 23 modules split into 2 parts online. Part 1 is prudent practice startup that takes you from the first thought in your mind, which is potentially where you are sitting today, to your fully completed built out practice. And then the second part, all part of the same program, is Flying First Year Success, which will take you from your empty, completed, built out practice to success in your first year. Have a great weekend. A reminder, if anyone has any questions, you can email me at mathurdentaleducation@gmail.com. Have a great week doing dentistry, but hopefully you have a wonderful, relaxing weekend first. Take care.